What's up, guys? It is time for another episode of Show Me Your Rig Season number 2. This is episode number 8. We are still focusing on non-custom water-cooled builds, and today we have 3 really awesome systems that we're going to take a look at. I have decided what Season 3 is going to be all about, and that is small form factor builds. So, same thing as this season, we will be focusing on small form factor builds for Season 3. We will still be showcasing other kinds of builds. So mid towers, full towers, anything else you guys might have will definitely still be seen on the program, but will not be eligible for the end of season prize, which, if you guys have forgotten, is a $100 gift card to Amazon. So let's get on with episode number 8 of season number 2. If you guys need a reminder, this email address right up here is how you submit your rig for consideration to be on the program. Send me in as many photos as you can. Please make them as high quality as possible. Along with your name, your system specs, what you use it for, anything else that might be relevant and that I might want to read out to my viewers on the show. So without further ado, system number 1 today is from Derek G. Let's get into it. So Derek hails from Toronto, Canada, and he writes, "My name is Derek G, and I found your channel in doing research for building and overclocking my new rig, Sasha, with a Fire and Ice color scheme this past holiday season. As a full-time commercial digital effects artist, part-time photographer, and over-the-hill gamer, I needed a PC that could render 3D work, process very high megapixel raw images, and spit out 60 FPS on high-quality game settings, all at 4K resolution. I also wanted to keep the budget under 5,000 Canadian. Because I haven't assembled a PC since cases were beige and Windows came on several 3.5-inch floppy drives, I've been there, I hopped onto YouTube to do a little research for the new build. In doing so, it became quickly apparent RGB lighting is very popular right now. At first, I wasn't going to succumb to the blingy RGB lifestyle, knowing full well it came with a higher price tag, but then the giant rainbow unicorn black hole opened and it sucked me in. I ended up going full Vegas, and here is the system. So this is a Coolmaster H500M, Gigabyte Z390 Aorus master motherboard with an i9-9900K CPU from Intel at 5 GHz. The cooler is a Coolmaster ML360R. Memory is a 4x8 gig kit of Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro DDR4 3200. GPU is an Aorus RTX 2080 Ti. I think this is the Aorus Extreme version. Storage is the Samsung 970 Pro, and the power is provided by an EVGA Supernova 750, and it's got some cable mod cables. So this is a great photo to kick things off, and this is what I like to see when I open my emails from you guys. I know he said that he's a photographer, so obviously these are going to be a little bit better quality than we normally see, but this was very pleasant to be the first image that we saw. But he also sent over, actually, if I rewind a little bit, he sent over some pictures of the build process. So obviously he had everything all disassembled. He said he had to custom mod this this bracket from Cooler Master to fit the Aorus Extreme graphics card, and there he is, dremeling away and hacksawing apparently too. And then he built a custom stand for the PC, which you can't really see in the photos, but does look very nice. He also modeled and printed off a custom cover for the Cooler Master AIO, which looks pretty cool. I guess that's maybe his signature or his company logo or something like that. Not really sure, but still, clearly it looks a lot different than stock. So that's some way that he's chosen to customize it, and I think it looks great. You can see in this picture here that he is utilizing the GPU SAG support bracket that that Cooler Master provides with the with the H500M. I never had a problem with GPU SAG on a vertically mounted card, but I guess if one is going to do it, it'll be a card that's this big, because the Aorus Extreme versions of the 2080 Ti are enormous. But just taking a look at the interior, the rest of the layout of the case, everything looks good. Got the standard cable mod cables, which you know, they're still fine. But in the past, I've definitely said that I do prefer the Pro versions, but there's nothing wrong with these at all, and they definitely go with your color scheme, and they still look really good. No stray wires or anything else like that that I really need to, or even really want to comment on. This kind of build is not something that, I mean, I'm looking to critique. I just kind of want to show it off to you guys, because not only does the build look great without the lights on, but then you flick the lights on like this, and just is very striking. The side view shots, especially, if we could get to that. I think there's a closer up shot. But I think he did some kind of a long exposure with the camera settings, so that he gets this full RGB ring effect of the LEDs on the RS Extreme cooler. And this is the selling point of these cards, is that they just look absolutely fantastic, especially when they are mounted vertically like this, and you can see the fans pointing out the side of the case. But the lighting effects are on point, the cable routing is on point, the parts choices obviously are on point, and your photography skills and editing skills similarly on point. So yeah, this is just a fantastic looking build from Derek, and I commend your custom work and your dedication to making sure that this giant graphics card fits as it should by you know, hacking up that vertical GPU mount as necessary. Yeah, there's a close-up of that. That looks great. I had a problem photographing mine when I had it, just because I wasn't using any long exposure settings. I mean, to be honest, I didn't put in a huge amount of effort to photograph it correctly. I was more focused on the video side of things. But when I was taking photos of my card, it did not look like this. So yeah, using that a little bit longer of an exposure definitely helps get that full ring effect going. And this system just looks awesome. So very well done. And I'm sure that you might have some people copying you, both with your photography and your build, because this just looks great. So a great way to kick things off from Derek, and an awesome looking system, and obviously one that's going to be a beast in games and everything else that you need it to do. Thank you very much, Derek. Let's move on to system number 2. Next up is Kyle T, and I really appreciate Kyle sending in this photo, showing me at my absolute best. So thank you very much for that. But Kyle writes, my name is Kyle, and this is my first build, DD. The reason my rig is named DD is for designated driver. I checked myself into rehab 9 months ago for alcohol, and I had no idea what I was going to do with myself when I got out. To be honest, I was scared, but I happened upon your channel along with Paul and Kyle, so thanks to you, I've been able to keep my sanity, and have found something that I love to do, so thank you again. You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad that my channel has had that effect on you and maybe helped you out just a little bit. P.S. Don't pay any mind to the silver screws holding on the side panel or on the cutout in the case. I was a few millimeters off on my measurements when I chose the GPU, had to mod the case. We'll take a look at that in a second. But he is rocking a Ryzen 5 2600 in a B450 MSI B450 Tomahawk motherboard. The cooler is a CryoRig C1, which is something that we hardly ever see. The GPU is a Sapphire RX 580 Nitro Plus. The memory is by Patriot, DDR4 3200. Power supply is a Seasonic 620. The SSD is a Samsung. He just said Evo, so I assume it's 850 or something like that. But anyway, Samsung Evo 250 gig. He's got a 2 terabyte Western Digital Blue hard drive. The case is a Rosewill Collinon PX, which is not one that I've ever actually built in myself. He's got some Asia Horse extension cables and some Rosewill fans. So once again, it's just we'll take a close-up look right there, because yeah, that's what you guys are subscribed to. So whatever, moving on. Here is the build, and this is what he was talking about with the screws. So this is actually kind of a neat solution to a problem that, you know, unfortunately you did create by getting a graphics card that is quite wide. There's actually another view of it. Let's see if so here. So you can see how it kind of bulges out past the side of the case, and this is something that unfortunately is a thing with these cube style cases. Like even the Lian Li PC-011 could potentially have this issue if the GPU is wide enough. So what he did was he actually just put some, looks like some spacers in behind here, and bumped this out and used the same threading found some screws with the same threading as his thumb screws for the case and used those instead. I actually don't think this is a bad solution at all. The only issue that I see is that it obviously is going to be a little bit more difficult to remove these than it would be with thumb screws. But if you just like took either some Plastidip or some matte finish black spray paint and painted these screws and washers, you would never even know that this is not stock, that this isn't the way that the case came. So I would recommend that you do that, because otherwise this looks fine. And to be honest, it probably provides more airflow this way, because there's probably a gap right on this side now. But as we take a look at the full-on side view, this CryoRig cooler in this case looks really neat. Like I said, we don't usually see these kinds of coolers in systems that are submitted here. So yeah, this is something that, I mean, the gray kind of blends in with the Tomahawk here, and it's just very different looking when you look into it and see this giant fan and like down firing airflow as opposed to going across or using an AIO or something like that. This looks really cool. The Asia Horse cables, I've never used them myself. They look really good. They're nice and thick, and they're trained very well, and they have nice combs on them. Nothing to complain about there, and I'm sure you probably saved yourself a pretty penny over going with something like CableMod or something like that. Down here, this is actually a problem with these kinds of cases that I've run into myself, and that's there is no place to route these cables except coming out of his grommet and just running them straight across the bottom of the case. So that's unfortunately just something that's unavoidable. But you've done a great job with the rest of your cable management. This RGB strip, I don't know that I would want it here, just because I think looking at it at the case from any angle, you could see it, you know, and that's something that I do try to avoid personally. But I think when you have the case like this, you know, if you're looking at it like it's on your desk and you're sitting over here somewhere looking at my lovely face and expression, you don't see it at all, which obviously is good. And in this case, I don't know where else you might put it. So maybe this is a critique that doesn't really hold any water. But that is just something that I noticed. But other than that, another really, really great looking system. Obviously all the parts are very well matched. 2600 with an RX 580 is a really good combo, really solid 1080p gaming at high frame rate. So yeah, this is a great build, and this little innovation of spacing out the case side panel because you needed to. Hey, you do what you got to do, and I don't think it looks bad at all. So thank you very much for sending in your system. We're going to move on to our last one, which is a little bit different. So you may be saying to yourself, hey Brian, why am I staring at a wooden box right now? Well, that wooden box is made by Noah, and he's from Germany, and he writes, I love the Show Me Your Rig series and wanted to submit my own build. The PC originally started out as a pre-built gaming tower, and then 1 year ago I found this really cool ammo crate from World War II and thought, wouldn't it be cool to use this as my case? The PC is called Death Crate because it looks like the Death Crate from PUBG. The IO shield, PSU shroud, and graphics card mount are 3D printed. I normally use this PC for gaming. The games I play are mostly esports and some AAA titles. In the near future, I want to upgrade the system a bit with a second memory stick and a Ryzen 3000 CPU later this year. Alright, Noah, what do you got inside of this crate? There's an Asus Z170K motherboard, an Intel i5 6600K, an Asus Ares Radeon RX 580, a 1 8GB stick of HyperX Fury DDR4, a Samsung 960 EVO 250GB, a Toshiba 4TB hard drive, and then a whole bunch of Be Quiet stuff. We've got 6 Be Quiet fans, we've got a Be Quiet System Power 500 watt power supply, and a Be Quiet Dark Rock Advanced C1 cooler. And Noah also says, thanks for your videos. It's really nice to see all these crazy builds. Well, I don't know how many are crazier than this one. And just from the look of it on the outside, I am already impressed. But let's take a look at the inside. So obviously this is still hinged. It still looks like just a functional crate. You've drilled these airflow holes right where the fans are mounted. Is this a power button? I didn't even notice that. You have your power button wired up there? That would be just awesome. So I guess we'll see if we could see a little more of that here. But so these are the 3D printed brackets that he's used to be able to mount his graphics card, to be able to mount his power supply, and to be able to mount the I/O shield. I mean, the creativity in these is just amazing. So kudos to you. This is not something that I'd ever even attempt to do. Maybe I should attempt to do it, but not something I'd probably be good at. But you could see how he's mitered out, or routed out the top of the case here, or the crate, to accommodate the little bit of additional height for the CPU cooler. But there's just Be Quiet fans everywhere in here, and I think you did the right thing by doing that, just because, I mean, if we go back to like the beginning here, there's not a whole lot of potential airflow opportunities here. So the more you can encourage that by adding additional fans, I think that's going to work better for you. But this crate is just absolutely packed full of hardware, and this just looks so cool. I mean, this top-down view, you even got like the custom cables going on inside here. I don't know where this mounting bracket came from for the hard drive, but it looks like you got it mounted on shock mounts, which is awesome. I do wish you had more memory in there, but I know you said you'll get on that at some point. But and then you have some custom cooling solutions over here for your graphics card. This looks like you took off the stock fan solution and just mounted these beastly Be Quiet fans on there instead. So damn, this is so cool. And to be honest, I would really love to put this up for the end of season vote. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think, if you think that this is worthy of being on the end of season show. But awesome work here by Noah. I bet this took a while to plan out and get together. But yeah, boom, ammo crate turned into PC right before your eyes. Thank you so much for sharing this, Noah. This is very creative. Great photos you sent in. The PC is just awesome. So I don't know. People are way more creative than I am. Let's wrap it up. So 3 truly awesome system builds that we got to see on the program here today. Thank you so much to everybody out there who continues to send in your builds. To be honest, I have a huge backlog of stuff that I still need to go through for potential people to feature on the show. I will carry that over season to season, so if you haven't been picked yet, don't panic. It could very well still happen. And if you haven't submitted your system and you want to, this email address right up here is how you do that. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Show Me Your Rig. When I get back from China, we'll resume some normal programming. I hope that you guys are looking forward to that. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Check out the merch store, link down below. And I'll see you guys next time.